All right. Good evening, folks. Welcome to LRG Podcasts. We are doing a special recap show as we'll be doing going forward. Each episode of Survivor, we will be covering the latest and the greatest episode and reviewing with some of our live reality game friends and family members here. My name, of course, is Dustyn. I kind of help run this channel with a support team of great podcasters all over the world. And speaking all over the world, we are joined here by Joseph. Joseph, how are you tonight?
Hey, I'm doing excellent. I'm pumped. It was a great premiere, and I'm really excited. We have a lot to talk about.
It's the first episode. They give us 2 full hours to
2 hours.
talk and everything. So lots of things to go over with a stunning cast. I love the cast so far. Great personalities and a lot of enthusiasm to go over as well. Joseph, what's your background for live games and Survivor knowledge, I guess?
Okay, so I mean, I've been a Survivor fan for forever, but my kind of LRG career, I don't know if you call it a career at this point. I'm definitely not being paid for it. It's a volunteer position at this point. Actually, I'm in the red. But anyway, I started in Sydney Survivor season 1 when I was back in Australia, which I think not last year. What year is it this year? God, 2022 that happened. Aired 2023. It was an amazing experience. It changed my life, yada, 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 as usually your first LRG does. And then I just happened to move here to the Cayman Islands for work. I'm a lawyer by career, so I moved here because a lot of lawyers live here.
You shouldn't tell people that you're a lawyer. Don't you watch Survivor? Come on.
I know. And if I was ever on the show, I won't. So I should be doing less of these so less people know me. But my fault of myself is I never learn my lessons, which is fine. And then when I moved here, I was on the beach one day and I was like, I feel like I'm on Survivor. There's calm blue turquoise waters. There's coconuts falling off the trees. It's really warm and pleasant. And I'm like, why don't I just do an LRG here? And so I did. And we're 2 months away. We're going to film at the end of April, which is really, really exciting. We've got a great I'd say 95% local cast. I'm actually surprised by how many Caymanians and local people that live here put their hand up to do it. And if anyone's watching this and you haven't heard from me, sorry. It just didn't work out. And I'm happy to say we're the first LRG to ever be in a tropical setting, technically.
There was a Survivor Matariki, which is placed in New Zealand. So I don't know if they qualify for tropical.
No, New Zealand's not tropical.
It looked pretty tropical. I think there were palm trees. There were big spiders, I know.
Okay, well, there's actually no spiders here. No poisonous spiders. It's a big change from Australia, to be honest.
There's big spiders in Michigan, too, and we're not tropical.
Speaking of being in Michigan, I am joined with my fellow cohort in the Muskegon area, a future contestant going to be, not technically yet, folks, nothing announced, my partner for the Boozy Bankers for the Amazing Race, Laura. Laura, how are you tonight?
I'm great. I thought this was just people talking. I didn't realize this was actually being streamed or anything. So just briefly, my experience with reality TV is that I did watch the first couple seasons of Survivor, and then my children got very, very needy, and I off and on would watch. But then my youngest daughter, Natalie, became obsessed with Big Brother 4 years ago, which I started watching with her and thought it was the stupidest thing in the world. But after 2 seasons, I was like, oh my God, when's it on again? And then we picked up Survivor a couple of years ago. And then when we met and started working together, we would talk about it every time it was on. So now I'm just kind of addicted. And just so you know, Dustyn, as soon as I sent the family the text saying, hey, Survivor's on tonight, Bill's in Vegas. He's like, oh my God, we missed the draft. Quick, put all the names in the hat. So we did a random draw. My whole family have we all have names, and I did get, by chance, I got Tevin too. So I didn't cheat at all. So that's my
Tevin was
pick.
my first draft pick as well. So the other day, a few of us LRG people, we sat around, we did a draft, talked about the cast. So you'll see that there, and we'll kind of recap at the end who's winning, who's losing. So my team is in the white there. So I personally have Liz, Maria. I keep saying Moira, but that's not correct. It's like Mariah. So I have Tevin, and then at the end there were 2 people left over. So 3 of us put our chips onto Tiffany, and then one of us, Snyder, put his chips onto Banu at the end. So that is our draft. Laura, we just talked about it. Your kind of winner pick is Tevin. Joseph,
Yes.
who do you have your money on? Who are you going for?
That's a good question. I am a very indecisive person, so I really waited up until like the very last minute before like 7:59 p.m. EST. I was like, okay, I have to pick something before it shows, otherwise it doesn't really count. But I just liked Venus's name. It's such a unique name, and I was like, I could see her going pretty far just from. I didn't do too much research, or I tried to, because with Survivor 45, I looked a lot of like the pre-game coverage because I feel like there was a lot, like pre-season promo material and stuff like that, and it was slightly less for this season. So I actually deliberately came into this season a little bit blind as to like the backstories and everything, just so I could be surprised and refreshed and enjoy the first episode without any preconceived notions. So Venus is my photogenic winner pick.
Fantastic. We are joined with Snyder here. Snyder is watching, not on this recap episode, but Snyder will be back for a recap in a few weeks with us. So, folks, what are we looking forward to from this season of 46? So I would like something different than 45, 44. I want something different, and I hope they do it. And they haven't done it quite yet, Joseph. What are you looking forward to in 46?
I'm relying on the people, I think, because I feel like it's not necessarily become a bit formulaic with kind of like the twists and advantages and the starting tribes, but I feel like I would like to see a bit something a bit messy, which is one entertaining. I want to see people make mistakes. I want to be people, and we can talk about this later, not be afraid of making decisions and facing the consequences and not being afraid of consequences. And I feel like in the past couple of seasons, people expected to see things like the were advantages and stuff, and they tried their best to mitigate consequences. But people are really kind of like already going balls to the wall, and they're like, oh, Beware advantage, fuck yeah! I'm just gonna take it and just ride with it. It's refreshing, and I'm looking forward to new personalities that just kind of just go balls to the wall and not afraid to make mistakes or the consequences of their actions. They'll just deal with it later. That's what I do.
Laura, what are you looking forward to for this season? You want some drama?
I think you already saw somebody make some big mistakes and pay for it. and he was one of my random draws. So I was like, wow, can you just like screw this up even more? I don't know. I think I'm still getting used to, like, I know they do a lot of the same challenges. And so just catching up in the last couple of years, it's like, oh, okay, I kind of understand what they're always going to do. But sometimes they confuse me with all their random bewares and shot in the dark. And I mean, maybe just getting more comfortable thinking, okay, I don't know how you can even strategize this, but all these people that watched all the time, they seem to have it figured out. So maybe I just want to be able to understand any twists that they throw out there this season, and the same old, maybe start to understand the strategies behind some of those.
I mean, Laura brings up a good point, and kind of to kick things off, like they start with what Jeff called as a marooning challenge. I'm not qualifying this as a marooning challenge. Like they had to go under ropes and stuff. A marooning is like old school. They're on the boat, grabbing supplies, jumping off, which is something I miss. That's in my notes. Jeff is like, this is the start of the marooning challenge. I'm like, this is not marooning at all.
No, I definitely agree. They've been marooned. It's post maroon. Post maroon. And I miss that too. And I guess there's it's funny because Laura, you just said, oh, they kind of reuse challenges sometimes. And we've just said, no, we want the thing that's always been there to stay. But I guess there's certain things like marooning. It's like there's not much at stake other than supplies, I guess. And there's no like losing flint or losing resources. It's just whatever you can get, you get. And I think it's a good challenge because there's no losers really. You get something from it.
At least there's no chickens being dropped into the ocean. I guess that's the good point that we're not doing marooning anymore. So
was that the reason why? Maybe I don't know.
I don't know. So we start the game off with the first initial challenge. We go into sweat and savvy. Laura, what are you thinking? Would you?
I'm thinking Jelinski's an idiot.
I think we all
several means
agree.
7. Like, what are you talking about? And honestly, like, I started thinking about it too. Like, okay, so if you want to figure out if you can do this, fill one of the urns, and if there's half the sand left, then you can finish it. But like, I don't know what they were doing, other than at least they decided to cover the holes, which I was like, well, that was a good idea.
Well, eventually, we see them go back and forth a few times and not even covering the holes, and then they finally are like, oh, let's cover the holes. That would help.
Yeah. It did look like it was going to be impossible, but I mean, you're two guys. Like, I think they should have, and I think the other guy should have said, fine, you quit. I'll keep doing it. I don't know. That would be my strategy.
I mean, I don't know if this was against the rules or whatnot, but could you use your clothes to like block the holes a little bit? Then you don't have to worry. So you got to be a little savvy on the sweat challenge too.
I always wonder about that, whether there are kind of like rules that we don't really hear that are part of the challenge, because there have been like lots of instances, and there's plenty of videos on YouTube of compilations of players that hack challenges, so to speak, and they could have been told, but we don't know that. My first thing was, how the fuck do I plug these holes to make sure the water doesn't leak other than using my fingers?
And they're like, oh my gosh, there's holes in the bucket. Like, you realize this. Don't you stop it automatically?
Yeah,
like,
yeah, it was just like, what am I going to do? Oh no, there's holes.
And then the other challenge, so Savvy, I called the answer, by the way. Like, in my mind, I'm like, okay, so we're looking at the random letters that are left over. You probably have to unscramble something. It's going to give you a clue for the answer. I knew it. So I could have done that Savvy challenge, hands down.
Isn't he the one, didn't he do that challenge and he went to Harvard?
He's a lawyer. All he works with as a lawyer, all we work with is words. We look for hidden meanings. I was really surprised that he didn't kind of like...
He kind of let the other guy lead it, and the other guy had no clue what he was doing. Even said he was dyslexic or something. I'm like, well, then tell him to sit down. You figure it out.
However, on the same hand, like Laura and I are bankers. We work with numbers all the time. And yeah, even if you work with letters all the time, maybe you're not best suited for letters. I don't know. Snyder has a good question in the comments. How long did it take me to find the answer? I didn't really take a screenshot of it, but I totally knew what the answer was going to be had I been on it. So just stating that.
So they had to look under and dig under for the... I didn't understand what they said at the end of that challenge. How were they supposed to solve it?
So once you scratched off all the correct words on the crossword, the letters left over spelled out dig under lock or something.
So you had to dig under there to get something with the combo. Okay.
Probably a scroll or something with the right answer. So we don't know. We'll never know exactly, but the answer
kind of like what
there.
Tiffany figured out.
Yeah, I was very impressed with that.
I was too. I thought that she did great. She's
Tiffany
strong.
Impressing me this entire episode. First she grabbed one of those puzzle blocks all by herself, and I was like, wow, because on the intro, and she's all muddy and everything. On the intro, she's like, oh my gosh, there's a bug on me. Oh, gross. That was the 20-second intro I got from Tiffany. and I was just surprised by Tiffany the entire episode. So, let's see here. Since we're talking about like casting characters, let's get into some tribes, and let's talk about the dynamic in characters of the green team, or is it the Siga,
I
something
thought
like
they
that?
said Sega, and so when they first said the
Mhm.
name, I was like Sega,
Like goal, I guess.
like the
So,
console, yeah.
all right. First here, just alphabetically ordered. Here I have Ben. Ben was a quick draft pick on our draft, so I was surprised that I think Sam jumped on him real quick. Yeah, Sam's here in the red. He was the first initial. Like I can see Ben being very relatable, very fun, but still, I don't know Sam's opinion of a first draft pick. Joseph, are you jumping on Ben wagon or no?
Uh,
Are you rocking or are you rolling?
It's a no for me, dog. Just at the moment, I wasn't impressed with him in the Savvy Challenge, and he seemed to have a bit of I'm not going to say negative editor, but there was kind of some connotations that he wasn't on the outs of stuff of the Sega tribe. So I peg Ben as a bit of a mid to late pre-merge boot.
I would agree. Like, I think he could go far. Like, he's very like unassuming. People get along with him just fine. Laura, thoughts about Ben?
Good social. I thought good social, but I agree that I mean I think honestly in that tribe that Maria is gonna run that tribe for a little bit, and so whoever she wants to get rid of, she will. So, but I mean, I thought Ben was good socially, but like I don't know why he jumped into a savvy puzzle. I don't think I would have done that if I were him.
I know. Props to him for jumping in, but like maybe know your strengths before jumping into a savvy challenge for sure. But like you said, Maria, like one to watch out for. Like she is luckily on my draft pick, so I'm happy to see how strong she was. Kind of like getting her alliances built. I know she had something with Tim earlier too about like the parents, and then she's working with the girls on the tribe, and the girls want Charlie in there. So that really seems like Ben is on the outs of that tribe.
Yeah. And she was the one that said Charlie's Angels, right, Maria?
Yes.
Yes. I love that reference. Whether Charlie's aware of that or not.
I don't think so. Not yet. But I really want the Charlie's Angels alliance to work out. I thought Jem had a really good edit as well. Jem, I think I was taking my notes as best I could. She was the first person to say sole survivor, that she's going to be the sole survivor. And the edit always throws in a few hints here and there. So I don't know if that's going to be something in the future. But she was the first person to say, like, hey, I'm going to be the sole survivor. So
I enjoyed Jem. She was there. I don't think she was a kind of essential character for the Siga tribe this episode, but whenever she was there, I enjoyed what she had to say, and I liked her job. It was a international brand mentor, which I don't exactly know what that means, but maybe she partners with brands all over the world to like build them up or something. So it makes you think that she is very innovative. She can think on her feet. She's great with new people, and she's always going to come up with maybe new ideas or ways to do things when other people don't. So I have high hopes for her, just based on her career or what she says.
as a fellow lawyer, are you having high hopes in Charlie? Like lawyer to lawyer.
Yes, and the reason I say that is not because of anything. The reason that he's a lawyer, the reason why I say I think I really, really think he's going to do well is because he seems to have a lot of self-awareness. He says, "I came from Manchester by the sea. It's not a very diverse place."
Diverse.
Yeah, I don't really have much experience being. I mean, he went to Harvard. Harvard's pretty diverse these days. I mean, I speak that just not actually having ever been to Harvard. I just assume
Harvard
that
is my favorite basketball team besides Villanova. So that is
Well,
fine.
however, I
They're
think he's
never going to
self-aware.
win the tournament, FYI.
My favorites never need to win. They just need to be my favorites.
Exactly, I can agree with that.
Laura,
self-awareness
high hopes
is
for.
Oh.
Sorry.
Sorry, Dustin. I just want to get this point out. I think his self-awareness is something that's very smart, not something that everyone has. He knows what his experience has been, and he knows how that is going to affect his relationships in this specific game. And I think the way that he's approached that, even just from like day 1 or 2 or episode 1, if you want to call it, is very, very smart. And I think that being self-aware will give you good reads, have a good gut, and carry you far.
Mm-hmm. And I think the fact that he like plays into people's whims, like wearing like Ben's vest a little bit for like some chuckles and everything, like it's fun. He knows how to integrate into like the conversation and the mentality of the tribe.
Yeah.
Well, and he also understands that he's got the girls on his side and he can also be on the guys' side. So he's got a good strategy there. Until either side figures it out, play both sides.
Mm-hmm. It's always a risky place to play, like in the middle of 2 alliances, so that you're covered on both sides, but still, like if the sides start talking to each other, it could be trouble.
I think based on what Tim said, I don't think that's going to happen, because he was pretty like, we have to get a girl out. We have to get a girl out.
Well, and they just keep saying that Tim is a college coach. What kind of college coach is he? Did they say that at all, or just?
At least in like the little intro that I watched, I think he works with college students, just like how to do like resumes and how to be successful in college. I think that's what I saw in the 20 seconds that I watched.
So like pursuing life after college or getting into college, something like that.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I didn't think they spent very much time on him, which we all know what that means. Either he goes really far or he's gone soon.
He did have a nice moment, like bonding with like Maria. I thought like they had like the parents alliance thing going on. So I think Tim can follow underneath Maria, just like you said, Laura. Like Maria's running this tribe.
I think so.
Mm-hmm.
It's nice to see an older woman, still way younger than me, but.
I did like that she said that she didn't want to be the motherly figure, but I think sometimes the older women have fallen into it and just kind of accepted their fate, and they have shown that like motherly nature and nurturing nature. But I like that she was very conscious of that fact, and she's probably not going to play into too much of being she'll be the matriarchal figure, but not in the sense that she's having everyone suckling at her teat or something. I don't know. Insert mother reference here.
Well, and you guys, Mariah, she was the one that's said she was just happy to be making friends, right? Like kind of awkward and yeah. So those are kind of hard to figure out, because it's like, remember who was the chick last season that I thought was going to get voted out the first week and made it like to the final 5 or whatever?
Hannah.
Yeah. So you just never know.
Oh no, Emily. Emily. That's what her name is.
The
Emily.
blonde. I don't know. She was just like, I thought she was gone week 1, and she made it really far. So she could be a dark horse too. Who knows?
Mm-hmm. I liked her. I like the board game, like the nerdy people thing. So I don't know if she's got enough to like pull it out at the end, but best of luck to her. Joseph, any final thoughts here on the Green Tribe?
I do like I like them as a makeup. And although I think if they do go to tribal, I feel like it could be a relatively straightforward vote, unless there's some kind of like intervening event.
Well, then again, Maria does have a double vote. Like,
Mhm.
I failed to mention that too. Like,
Mm.
she did good at reading the two guys at the little summit thing that they went to.
Oh, that way.
But then still, like, oh, this episode was all like Jelinski.
Yeah, Jelinski, who's from Vegas, doesn't know how to bluff. Like, come on, man.
This stuff writes itself. He
Mhm.
folded every opportunity
Yes.
that he had, and Maria just she said 2 sentences, and he just immediately folded, no pushback whatsoever. And I was just like, first the challenge, and then now
Mhm.
this, and it was just. I mean, I get where he comes from, and maybe we can talk about the dilemma boat trip soon, but he wasn't wrong that he was put in a difficult position. But if someone wasn't as savvy as Maria was in the way that she pushed him and almost like blackmailed him, essentially, if someone didn't do that, he could have gotten away with it. But she did a very good job.
Mm-hmm. I enjoyed the little game. I kind of want to play that game eventually. Like torch, vote, and skull. Like, it's simple. It gets the point across, and you know, I enjoyed it.
Yeah, I did too. It was refreshing.
Laura, thoughts on the Green Tribe before we move on?
Just that if somebody wants to survive that tribe, they better figure out how to get rid of Maria. How do you solve a problem like Maria?
Someone has to sing that this season, otherwise.
This is like a musical, like season 2. I think the tribe that we're going to next is our singing tribe here of Tevin and Soda. So, who wants to kick this off? Name one person, and we'll go.
I think we should do Tevin because I just want to give a shout out to the slight, I guess you call it a cold open to the show with Tevin's almost monologue about the ethos of Survivor.
It was like
I think it was amazing. It was such a great setup, and I think it was a good summary of what Survivor is as a game, both strategically, psychologically, sociologically, and the fact that it sounded like he said that on a whim as well, and it was just a genuine. The way he described the game was a really, really great way to open the season.
I thought so too. Like Tevin has been like infectious from the moment I saw him, and just he's so excited to be there. He in the other draft podcast, he wants to go for the experience. And Joseph, like we know, like we've had a miniature experience in playing like live games. Like you go there and you have that life-changing moment. And you're like, oh my gosh, that was amazing. So props to him.
Mm.
Well, and I think he's an actor, so that's, I mean, he probably doesn't even feel like it's lying, you know, like Jelinski couldn't lie where he's like, I'm just acting, you know. I think that's a huge advantage. But he wasn't lying in that challenge, but I think going forward, and I don't think he's going to tell anyone he's an actor either. That would be a bad play, right?
Mm-hmm. And he's got a great relationship with Maria, I think, too. Like the two of them, they're going to have an extra vote, get to like a merge situation or like a tribe swap, and they are going to be covered for sure. They're going to work together.
And Hunter already globbed onto him too, which was smart on Hunter's part because he realizes he doesn't have a good social game.
I don't. Can someone explain to me who Annie Griffin is? I feel like I missed this reference. Unfortunately, I haven't Googled it yet.
Oh my gosh!
Laura, do you want to take it over? What's
yeah? Well, Dustyn's too young to even know what this show is.
Did it do?
Yeah, it's just a show from the 50s in the United States. I think the 50s, where it's a small town sheriff, Andy Griffith, and he's got a girlfriend, which is really kind of strange because his wife must have died, and a son named Opie, who's played by Ron Howard, the famous director. And there's a town drunk, and Don Knotts is his bumbling deputy. So just a 50s sitcom in the United States, very wholesome.
Okay.
But for Tevin to be a fan of it is very odd, and Hunter as well. I mean, they're too young to be fans of the show. I'm too young to be a fan of the show, really. I mean, it was out before I was watching television, but it's been on reruns for years.
And it's
Oh,
really
okay.
like there's like an Aunt May character, I think,
Yeah,
and she
Aunt B.
like Aunt B, and then she like makes pies and things. Very wholesome, Joseph. Very wholesome. Like,
Okay.
do you know Leave It to Beaver?
Yeah, vaguely.
So I would say like the prerequisite to that.
Okay.
Mhm.
Would you say that, Laura?
Yeah, very similar.
Mhm.
Hmm.
So I don't know how far that alliance is going. Like you can only sing that theme song so many times, and then it gets really drained into your mind. So, but the other half of that, Hunter, like he's putting his best foot forward. Like he's
Mhm.
working on like making up for what he's lacking socially by joining up with Tevin and everything. So I think he knows where he struggles at, and he's done a ton of work from what we've saw in the first episode. So he's a workhorse as well. And this team has just killed it on the challenges. So they're working well together. You know, at first I didn't think they were going to be very like strengthy. I thought really the purple team had a lot of like powerhouses on them. Like, but I don't know what this team is. The orange team just, lifted that gecko like it was nothing.
That was a huge gecko. 500 pounds is ridiculous.
I really thought this
Kind of like
episode was
that
gonna be-
mattress, huh, Dustyn?
Yeah. I moved a 120-pound mattress by myself, so it did not go very well, Joseph, at all. Shout out to Liz, though. Liz is a fellow Michigander, like Laura and myself. And she was at a few events last night, I want to say. And a few of my friends on Facebook posted pictures with her. So it sounds like Liz is like making the circuit, which is awesome. I really like watching the survivors go out to those events, whether it's on podcasts like this that we've had on before, or just like going to parties and bars, and like it's always fun to see the ones that are like interacting with the fans. And Liz is huge into like fan interaction. So she's in Michigan, so it's pretty close. So we might bump into each other eventually.
What's her career?
She owned 4 different businesses.
Oh, that's right.
sold
Some
2.
people didn't like that very much
Yeah, no, Tevin did not like that very much.
because he needs the money.
Yeah, I don't think it's, I guess, the best move to brag about being very successful financially in a game.
And I don't think she meant to say it like bragging wise, but
No, I don't think so either. But I guess maybe she should have been a bit aware of how maybe it would have come across to other people that are there. Because obviously, I don't think it rubbed Tevin the wrong way, but like that's going to be, it will be on his mind, like probably for most of the game. Like he's bookmarked that, he's put it back there, but he knows it's there, and it's going to be, maybe it could come back to bite her in the butt. I don't know.
I think maybe just saying like, hey, I own 4 businesses. I'm a really hard worker. Not that you sold the business or anything, but these days, who doesn't work 3 different jobs? So,
Amen.
I think I would have said like, I'm a self-employed entrepreneur, doing a couple different businesses, kind of working my way through life, not, play it down a little bit. And she didn't really say they were successful. He kind of assumed they were successful. So
the one person on this tribe I didn't see much of was Randon. Like, I put in my notes, like, who is this person? Like, he got, like, I feel like the least talking, even less than Hunter on this tribe.
Was he, he's the one that kind of started to throw Venus under the bus, almost. Was he the one that called her a princess, or was that Tevin? I missed that.
No, I think that was Randon because he compared her to who was the one that won one time? Starts with a P.
Parvati. Yep.
Parvati.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah. And that started that whole sequence of Venus savagely looking for an idol, and then Randon going to Soda, ratting her out, which was the truth. And then Soda being like, what is this person talking about? I don't believe you. Going back to Venus and being like, this guy's crazy. And then Venus cleverly playing along, being like, yeah, you really shouldn't trust him. It doesn't sound like it's a really good idea. So I don't think Randon is in the best. If Venus thinks she's on the bottom, I think Randon is actually on the bottom at the moment.
I think so too. Like, we don't really see him bonding with everybody. Like,
No.
everybody else had like interactions, like one-on-one, like building relationships, and he was just on the side and not saying very much.
So in my random draw I did for my family, there was 3 leftovers, and I put out there that whoever the first 3 out gets to choose one on the random 3. Well, Jelinski was my downfall already, so I picked Venus because she was one of the random ones left.
Okay.
I think she's a solid player. Like, she knows who she is. She's running through the woods trying to find a idol and whatnot, and like she's trying at least. So
yeah, we'll see. I'm like I said, still trying to figure out how these people survive this show because I don't know. And I really thought Jess might have gotten the boot just because of her, like, the way she kept rambling on. I was like, shut up. Like, cut yourself a break here.
yeah,
but we're not in that tribe yet. Sorry.
Someone called Venus a Parvati light. So
Ooh.
Good job, Snyder.
I'd say at the moment, Parvati Light, yes, but she could develop into Parvati 2.0. I'm here for that trajectory.
Snyder also says, music to my ears. And music, we have yet to talk about Soda. Soda was the one person that I was so frustrated that I did not get her on my draft pick. Like, she has a great personality. Maybe too much for Hunter, of course, who was also a camp counselor with those camp songs. But I do know Big Booty, so that's a fun game to play. So in general, I thought she had just a really outgoing personality. So
I think as a camp counselor, you have to have that because you're not looking after kids. You're also the entertainer of the kids as well when you're a camp counselor. And you're also there to listen to kids when they're upset as well. So she's probably has a great skill set to do some, I want to call it maybe like gentle parenting to people on this tribe if something goes awry. But she definitely probably has a lot of tricks up her sleeve just to pass the time. And they have so much downtime that we don't see, that they do play little games just to pass the time. And she probably has a whole Bible of things just to keep things going and people engaged. And I think that will be in her benefit with people really like having her around just to take their minds off the game, I guess.
That's kind of my role in like the live games I've played, Joseph. It's like, oh, let's put this together, or let's move this here. Let's keep busy. Let's make the time go by. Let's play a game of whatever. So I'm always playing games, whether it is at the branch or whatever. Like they're just great team building things. Like let's have some fun.
And how has that gone for you?
It's going great.
Okay. I'm just wondering, not knowing any of your placements whatsoever, it was a genuine question. No shade.
No.
No, he's a very, very well-liked manager. I can attest. And he was my assistant for 2 months, and I said, this man needs to be promoted.
And it happened, so.
It did. As well-deserved.
Let's see here. So now we have the unfortunate conversation to talk about the Purple Tribe. Not unfortunate, because I really like this tribe. They have some great characters in it. I'm rooting for a lot of them in general. They were just, on the bottom of their games. So Kenzie was a hot commodity in the draft list. Kenzie, hairdresser, making the connections and everything. Like, she is playing the game super well. I'm a little nervous about episode 2, though. She kind of seems like she's breaking down real quick. And she was in like the first challenge. She really was defeated, I thought. Like when they weren't doing well, like she made a comment to the camera or something that they weren't doing well. I don't know. Like, she's got a great personality, and then when something goes wrong, she's a defeatist person. So
I thought my note on her was I thought she was pretty persuasive though. When they got to the point where they knew they were voting out somebody, she stuck to her guns and was like, we Banu and her were I think the ones that finally made it happen. That it was Jelinski. Well, and Q too, but Q's gonna bite himself. I think he's kind of like oh my gosh, who was the guy that came back last season because he hit his head 2 seasons ago?
Bruce.
Yeah, just like too aggressive for this early in a game.
I don't think he's being that aggressive. He's just really like trying to like he got partnered with Jelinski. So like, ugh. I just feel bad.
I think Q, being someone that comes from like a sporting background, he has a very disciplined work ethic, and having been raised in that kind of culture, he had clearly and rightly so had a problem with Jelinski giving up so early, and I have no idea what his reaction would have been if he was with Hannah last season, let alone this season. But I think it has the potential to rub people the wrong way, and not be interpreted as maybe what he thinks is supportive,
right?
But a bit too blunt and lacking a little bit of empathy. So I feel like that kind of mindset is great for him, and if he could communicate that better with others, it would help him. But if he doesn't, I don't think it would. It's not gonna end well for Q.
Joseph, do you have any sport background? Have you played any organized sports or whatnot?
Yeah, so I played tennis most of my life, water polo, diving, soccer. I've been a pretty active person.
Well, I was gonna say, like, Laura's background, not background in entirety, but she has lots of sporting in the background, from her dad being a all-rounder coach and being nominated for like coach of the year over here, and then sports as well. So Laura, is that kind of your mentality too?
Yeah,
Never give up?
I mean, yeah, kind of overboard and often misinterpreted as, because competitive people can be very selfish as well. So, I mean, I think it can go one of two ways. If you're really competitive, you can be really good at teamwork and team building, or you can be very competitive and he played football from what that's said, so he should be good at teamwork. I also was a diver, which is very yourself. So, I mean, it just kind of, I don't know, but yeah, I think he has the opportunity to do okay, but I do think, right, as of what I've seen so far, he might be getting misinterpreted in his intentions of trying to help the team. But we'll see. I mean,
I find it always interesting between the mentality of people that have played sports that are very individualistic, like diving or tennis or things like golf, where it's just you and you only have yourself to blame if you mess up, as opposed to football or soccer or rugby. I forget, whatever you guys call your NRL. Is it NRL? No. NFL. Sorry, getting my
Yeah.
the Super Bowl stuff, sports ball. Like
Yeah.
if
Sports
you've
ball,
only
exactly.
grown up
That's fine.
if you're only grown up in a team sports, your mentality is going to be very different to someone that just grew up as a singles tennis player that's only out for themselves. And it seems like he's been in the football background. He's more of a team player, and I think that's probably, for him, at least in this kind of game, a better mentality to have than maybe being a Djokovic or something.
Yeah, true. I was kind of siding though with getting rid of Jess, just for the fact that you do need, I mean, even though he quit in his challenges, at some point, like I feel like they could have coached and be like, dude, this is what you're going to do in this challenge. Like, we're going to help us with your strength. Where I don't know if Jess is going to be that helpful in any challenges that are needing strength, but that's the issue with this game though too. It's like you just never know. The next challenge could be something that strength isn't even that big of a deal, or someone can sit out, or so.
So I thought in the puzzle, it seemed that the other two tribes were working well together. Both people were putting in pieces and finding places. But I think where these guys didn't do well was that Jelinski and Jess. Jelinski was basically handing her the pieces and she was putting them in. So she would have to put in twice as many pieces as the other people who
The
were
other
putting their
teams.
own pieces in. So I don't think the way that they approached the puzzle was right, but also Jelinski seemed a bit flustered as well. But I have a soft spot for Jess only because, as someone that does have ADHD myself, I know that I can understand the struggles of like sleep deprivation and like brain fog and kind of like finding it difficult sometimes to express yourself in a coherent way. So I was happy that she didn't go home tonight, and the one thing that I hope that she gets is a good night's sleep, but I don't know whether she will.
Yeah, the fact that she loses her water bottle all the time. I feel that myself, my team always has to track down my coffee cup in the morning wherever I left it, whether it's in the break room, in my office. Like, I just shout out, "Where's my coffee cup?" And somebody at least knows where it is.
Is that common though, to not be able to sleep?
Yeah, so sometimes
Like with
not
stress,
much,
maybe that would be.
yeah, overthinking things,
Yeah.
constantly having your brain run scenarios, being a little bit, and I'm sure being thrown into this, you're always thinking about, are they kind of, in real life, you're not going to go to bed being like, am I going to go vote it off tomorrow?
Right.
Which
I
I'm
don't
sure,
know.
There's a chance of $1 million. Like,
I kind of go to bed at night, almost every night, thinking that, like, oh my God, what's going to go wrong tomorrow?
well, that's good preparation for Survivor.
No, I felt for her too, though, because I was kind of like, oh my gosh, like you're obviously struggling, like just like I said, I would have, but I think what she should have done better is like talked a little bit more at the beginning than I think she was trying to play it cool, and then she just was realizing, oh my gosh, I have to start doing something. So hopefully she'll get better in the next couple weeks and ramp up her game a little bit, because she's probably, if they go down again, I would say she's probably next.
Yeah, I agree.
Banu was a very big surprise for me. Like, in the
Mhm.
intro, I wasn't sure if his personality was going to click with everybody, but it seems to be working very well for him. So even though he's not a part of like the solid three with Q, Kenzie, and Tiffany, he seems to be integrating very well, and he's doing good.
Yeah, I find his energy was very infectious. He's definitely the most enthusiastic person out there. I thought maybe he was just like at the start of the episode, oh, he's just really happy to be on Survivor. But as his personality developed, I feel like I can kind of like identify with that as well. I'm sure he didn't he got citizenship for other reasons other than being just eligible to be on US Survivor. But as an Australian, I have entered the US visa lottery every year just in case I can get it. So one day I become a US citizen and be eligible for US Survivor. So I get it.
I didn't even know that was a thing. You have to be a U.S. citizen to be on U.S. Survivor?
Yeah.
Well, you can be also Canadian and have dual citizenship, I think.
It's a fun legal fact. The reason why that is because of the broadcast and television rights that they have to Survivor. They only have the rights to United States Survivor, so they can only have people from the United States or now North America, Canada, not necessarily Mexico, that's Central America, be a part of it. So that's why it is the way it is.
Well, just fun fact for me as well, I enter the lottery often, but it's for a different reason.
Yeah.
And I pay a lot of money to just dream that I might win someday. But best of luck to you on your lottery as well.
Thank you.
Hey, at least with your broadcasting channel there, Joseph, you can enter Eurovision, my favorite show. So
I know it's so random, isn't it? Dami Im was robbed, I must say.
I'm not like caught up yet, so I will have to binge everything very soon.
This was like 2019.
Okay.
Yeah.
No, I've been following from like 2011 to tell you the truth. So
okay.
I'm going strong at like good 13 years of Eurovision here. So
it's my dream to one day actually go to it. That would be fun.
Yay. Let's see here. So let's see. Okay, so Tiffany, we talked a little bit about Tiffany earlier. She is my biggest surprise. Just based on her intro, like I said, like she was like, there's a bug on me, and like, but she is like taking this game a storm, I think.
It seems like I wrote strong for her. Very but I was very impressed with her finding the Beware challenge and actually figuring it all out, and it, and she's working well with
Kenzie,
yeah, that's the one.
Like they both know about the idol and everything. Like she was like, I need this person because it's a Beware. You never know. You're gonna need somebody to help you out of those situations. And she didn't even hesitate. She's like, I have it right here. She didn't even think twice about it. So
right. And then Kenzie did help her too and said, hurry up and hide whatever, if they're coming, they're on to you right now. So
and I guess
hope those two go far.
Yeah, I hope she does too. And I think she was very lucky that they just happened to lose, because I don't think there was nothing to suggest that she threw that challenge to make sure that she was able to get the clue. So the whole thing about Survivor just is a 5% a bit of luck as well.
Oh, I think it's a solid like 15.
Yeah, okay. What percentage is your luck at, Laura, for Survivor?
Laura still has not won the Mega Millions, so I'd say.
And she
we
never
did do
will.
pretty well at the casino last time. I think
I did,
like
but yes.
Bucks, so
May I suggest Powerball?
Yeah. Unfortunately, I mean, it's not a huge addiction, but it is nice every once in a while just if I could just win that $380 million.
You gotta be in it to win it. Is
right. We could have a really good LRG. What is that, live reality game? Yeah, we could have a really good LRG. I would sponsor it.
If I did that, I would buy an island, like legit.
So kind of the guy of the night is Jelinski. We've kind of been talking about him a little bit. We had some person on YouTube comment here. He wasn't eligible vote and was voted out, which is kind of sucky. You're on Survivor and you can't even cast a vote for your.
Oh yeah, he got voted out without even casting one vote.
You think we're gonna see him back for an All-Star or a second chance?
Oh,
Oh yeah.
I mean, if him and Brandon are on the same team, God help everyone else.
I feel bad for the guy though. Like, I don't know. It was
He meant well. Like his heart was there, and I think I don't know. He made several bad decisions, including when they got back, and immediately goes, "You know what? I'm just gonna lay here. I'll be fine." And Jess is like, "You don't
Right.
even
talk to
Jess knew
everyone?"
better. She's like, "What are you doing?"
I mean, if I was Jess, I wouldn't have said that. I would have just been like, "Okay, bye."
Mhm. I think
You
it's
do have to kind of, I mean, I do feel bad for him too, because can you imagine like all your friends like know you're going to be on Survivor and then they see this episode and they're like, what were you thinking? Like,
Either that or like classic Jelinski.
Yeah.
right.
That is probably the thing. It probably happens all the time.
She's got Jelinski.
And I don't know, like he just gave up so much, whether it was even lying to Maria or even in the challenge. He's like, I'm done with this. And I think Q said you can't take somebody like that to war with you. Like, they can't be on your team. So I'm sorry that they lost the 4 that they did, but I think the 3 are better than the 4.
Well, and honestly though, like you said too, like if you would have looked at these tribes, I would have thought that this tribe would have won challenges just
Yeah.
based on their looks.
Mm-hmm. They really have
So,
the physical capability to lift that
Mhm.
gecko. And I really swear, like, I thought Jeff was gonna say, like, this sponsor is sponsored by Geico, the gecko. And then what I thought was strange, just real quick, I had a little photo. So the Beware Advantage that Tiffany got would have been better suited for 42. Like, look at this picture. I know they're playing with this gecko theme from out of nowhere on the logo, but like you have a lock and key for 42. Like,
This is actually, I think, 46 when I looked at the logo. It's my least favorite one in a while. I don't get the
I think the
moon.
gecko looks cute, but it looks like the stock image of a gecko you find anywhere. So
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. But we're probably going to talk about it soon. I just want to say how fucking fire this tribal council set was. Like, they have gone all out for this. It was bonkers. I felt like I was back in Survivor China or something, but they really like stepped their pussy up. Can I swear on this? I don't know.
yeah, 100%.
Yeah,
But they legit have walls though. It's like you're walking into like Jeff's mansion or something.
yeah.
Do they do it in the same place all the time now? Like they're always in Fiji, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah. Because before they used to go to different locations. So maybe they just keep adding on to the
But this legit was massive. Like you're walking up steps and everything, and there's a room. Like you used to be voting out like in the open, but now you have walls, which I thought was weird.
And also
but
the
fire.
lighting choice was it kind of looks like I don't know, like a hotel. Even the categories. It kind of reminded me of like a really like fluorescently lit hotel toilet in Thailand. And it's just like that one mosquito that's just always there going, meow.
Snickers. Say hi.
Yeah. Oh,
Snickers wants to be on the show. Hi,
yeah.
say hi, Snickers.
But the tribal was, even though it looked nice, it was a super hot mess. Like Jess was just rambling, even though I thought she was able to. I know she was sleep deprived, and she was saying like she couldn't get her sentences together, but she still like made impactful jokes from what Jeff said. Like she understood what was going on, and what was it? She said something like, "I can't make sentences, I can't spell, but hopefully nobody can spell my name tonight," or something.
Yeah.
Like, She was still cognizant enough to make those kind of jokes and pick it up. So
yeah, and then she did say when Jeff said Jelinski's just trying to get you in this boat with him, and she was like, I don't want to be on that boat.
no.
Or what-
And then Jelinski rightfully put it out. He's not even on a boat.
But Jelinski just like talked himself down the entire time too. And he's like, oh, I never quit. I never do this. Clearly,
Except that
you can't say
challenge.
that.
And the other one.
Uh-huh.
Oh, that was unfortunate.
Mm.
I did like though when Jeff asked Banu, does that mean you're voting for Jelinski tonight? He couldn't answer other than say, "There's time to vote." that was a funny moment. I enjoyed that.
Thoughts about this tribe going back to tribal? I think we might see them back again real soon.
Mm.
Well, weirdly, I think the first ad break, I don't know whether they intended it, but I feel like there was a spoiler for next week's episode where they walk in and Banu, it's next week's episode clearly, and Jeff asked something and Banu's like, we really want to win immunity, and you see the other two tribes holding the immunity card, and I was like, well, that doesn't ruin the episode for me, like 10 minutes in.
100%. That was the Progressive commercial. I wrote a note about that too. Like,
Yeah.
they've messed things up before with consumer cellular. So there's a little preview, and I was thinking it was going to be just further in the episode, but yeah, it was. We already know what was going to happen.
Yeah, exactly. But having said that, it does seem like I feel like people like Q and from that unintentional spoiler, Bonu maybe have had a bit of a fire lit under their butt about wanting to win. So I feel like they will be very determined to do so next week.
Mm-hmm.
Which would be nice to see.
But like Kenzie like breaks down like the start of that next episode, the preview, like Kenzie's breaking down and everything. I'm like, great. Come on, Kenzie.
Only because the TV system they have set up here, I missed the preview after it happened. So I need to catch up on that.
I'll try to snip it. I think I DVR'd it.
Okay.
I think a general impression I had though was it seemed like most of the players were much smarter in this first episode than in the last couple of years, where nobody was really adamantly like, I can't stand this person, or like the one tribe was like, we all love each other, even though I'm like, no, you don't. Like, really? Like, there's got to be someone annoying you right now. But like, they all seem smarter about like not like calling someone out right away, other than Randon, who started calling out Venus. But usually I feel like the first episode, there's a lot more like, I can't stand this person, I'm going to try to get rid of him, blah, blah, blah. And this time it seemed like, oh, everybody's getting along great. So I'm sure that'll break down soon. The hungrier they get.
Mm-hmm. The more sleep deprived they get too.
So. Right.
So we did a draft, and we're kind of doing a variation on keeping score. Honestly, I made this up. I don't know anything. Like, we might have to tweak numbers and whatnot, but we give a point. Actually, we give bonus points called MVP points. So Joseph and Laura, you are the guests here tonight. So Laura, we'll start with you. Who would you say your MVP of the night would be?
Of the cast?
Of the cast.
I'm going to say Tiffany.
Tiffany?
Mm-hmm.
All right. 2 points for everybody that voted for Tiffany, which is everybody but Snyder. So sorry, Snyder. You're watching, and I know. Joseph, your MVP of the episode.
Snyder's not gonna like me. This is definitely not the Snyder's director's cut. But I'm gonna have to give it to Tiffany as well. I can't fault anything that she did. She found an idol, but she was also entertaining. I felt like I got to really know her. I like the fact that she is a self-taught artist. I feel like any self-taught artist I've met is a very good problem solver because they have to
Mhm.
problem solve everything for themselves. So yeah, I got to give it to Tiffany as well. Hats off.
So in our draft list here, highest scoring point after the MVP points, Tiffany is definitely bringing in the points for most of us. Sorry, Snyder. Dolinsky does take a solid 4 points before he leaves us, though. You get nice 5 points for the episode title, which he said, "This is how legends are made," or something like that. So good job in the quote, Jelinski. And that's about it. So overall, DB is winning our draft right now with 13 points. Snyder, you didn't pick Tiffany on your team, so you're stuck there at 8 points. But things will change as they always do. You never know what will happen next episode of Survivor. So, Laura, final thoughts about this first episode?
No, I'm just excited. It always gives me something fun to do on Wednesday night. So just excited to watch how it goes forward. And I'm sure there'll be a dark horse that will surprise us at some point and make some stellar move.
At the end of the draft last week, we all made random predictions of like crazy things that would happen. I bet a few points on that there would be a rock draw. Snyder wanted a showmance in it. He called out 2 people he thought they would like get together, essentially. Laura, any crazy thoughts that you think will happen?
I didn't really. The only showmance kind of got quashed already because Zelensky was vibing with Kenzie, right? And
Shaggy
I don't know.
and
I
Daphne
think there's
alliance.
going to be Maria and someone are going to be a final. They're definitely going to be a final 2, and I think they're going to go pretty far. So if Maria and Tiffany can get together, beware.
There, okay. Let's see here, Joseph. Final thoughts for the episode?
I thought it was generally a great episode to the season. I enjoyed that the first 75 minutes was just getting to know the dynamics, all the tribes. I really enjoyed that. When I saw there was only 40 minutes left, I'm like, we haven't even done the immunity challenge yet. Jesus. I really enjoyed that aspect because I feel like even after just one episode, I know 85% of the people there, their stories, what kind of personality they are, and hopefully that I made a good read on whether they'll do well or
not. Crazy thought, something it's gonna happen in this season, never happened before, or something that's gonna come up.
Look, this is a bit morbid. I don't think someone's gonna die, but I'm gonna say there's gonna be a bad medevac.
Oh.
Just I don't know. Like that's just.
I thought the gecko was gonna be a bad medevac. They were trying to get those things over.
Fall from the top when the gecko came down. I think maybe it was Tevin or something that fell from the top of the scaffolding structure. I was like, my ankle would have been deceased after that, and I would have to be put off at a stretcher. But I mean, when I say a bad medevac, I don't wish that on anyone. But it's more of just a left field prediction than wishing harm on anyone on the show.
100%. When we do the programming for like live games too, I'm the first person to say no balance beams. Like, nope, we're not doing this. It's too dangerous. No. I'm the person to say no. And that challenge, that gecko, no, too dangerous. Like Laura said,
no.
Yeah. There were so many puns on the episode too tonight. Like the Nami tribe, don't vote for me, not me.
I did like though in the marooning challenge, when Jeff was like, and the tribe that comes last are the, and someone yelled out Nami instead of losers. And then they ended up winning. I'm like, oh, great one, guys. That's probably Zelensky. I don't know.
I think we're gonna miss a little bit of humor without Jelinski, that's for sure.
Yeah, he was kind of giving me like Nicolas Cage vibes, just a little bit.
Voice.
If Nicolas Cage and like Weird Al Yankovic had a baby, I feel like that's what Jelinski looks like. The hair and the deep voice.
We'll only know second chances are coming around again, but I doubt that we're gonna see him again.
I would agree with that, unfortunately.
Mm-hmm. Well, with that being said, thank you folks for tuning in tonight. We had Jane watching and Snyder, of course, and then our friend here, Kidder, on YouTube. So thanks for joining in, folks. And Laura, thanks for joining tonight.
Thanks for having me. It was fun.
I'll be getting your drinks tomorrow. Don't you worry. So
I know. Yeah, we can recap again.
Yeah. Joseph, thanks again. Shout out to Survivor Cayman Islands. What do you have going on for Cayman Islands coming up? Are you doing episodes? Are you what's the word? Like casting or anything like that? What's going on?
I mean, so casting's done. We're full on like pre-production. We film in 2 months. It's just it's a 2-day game, but we are filming it, we're editing it. It'll be put into a YouTube series. I'm really looking forward to it. It's partly getting everyone to know about, I guess it's harking back to the old Survivor where they went to different places and you learned about the culture and the people and kind of tidbits about China or Nicaragua or the Pearl Islands. There was always like little motifs that happened throughout the whole thing. That's kind of been like my ethos about wanting to do this, that it's not just like something that I particularly wanted to do, but I fell in love with this place that I moved to, and I really want to show it off in the best light with the stories of the people that live here, the culture here, the national symbols, what the environment looks like, the beaches. Yeah, it's just meant to exemplify all of that as well. So I'm really excited for it. And I just want to plug something separately. If you're not watching Australian Survivor, what are you doing with your life? Titans versus Rebels is honestly, hands down, one of the best Survivor seasons I've seen in such a long time of any international franchise whatsoever. Just want to say that.
And I want to say
it.
I don't want to. I don't know whether there's. You can watch it on places like YouTube, or if you could just Google it. There's probably a Reddit thread that gives you the exact link to this Australian website. I think it's shvideos.net. I want to say, but you can watch any Australian reality TV show on that website for free without a VPN.
I have to be a little sneaky when I watch some old school Eurovision stuff. So there's ways around it, Laura. I'll tell you later. Okay. I'll tell you tomorrow.
Sounds good. Is that a current series right now?
Yeah, it is. My live Sunday, Monday, Tuesday consists of Australian Survivor because it's 3 episodes a week, which is a lot.
It's like Big Brother.
Wednesdays is US Survivor, so a majority of my week is watching Survivor at least once a day at the moment. So, and I'm doing Survivor Cayman Islands, so I'm weirdly not sick of the word yet, but
you're not done surviving.
Yeah, I'm surviving my life at the moment.
No, surviving, like Ben said. Like
what?
Vibing.
Oh, surviving.
Vibing.
Yeah. I'm surviving at the moment.
Good job.
It's all the vibe.
Well, Laura, if you're interested, once Joseph released the cast, we can do a cast draft of the Cayman Islands. That might be fun.
Oh yeah, that would be fun.
There you go. And then we'll watch the episodes and see how they go. So
yeah, it'd be nice to get it because the cast has. I really tried to. Cayman Islands is actually pretty diverse. It's about 50% Caymanians, and then about the rest of the 50% are expats. So Australian, British, because it's an overseas British territory technically. British, Irish, South African, Jamaican, Filipino, Haitian, and we have one token American tourist because we have a lot of cruise ships.
I'm picking that first draft. Give me that American.
All right. Well, best of luck. Laura, I'll see you probably tomorrow. Joseph, I will see you on probably another recap of these episodes. More than welcome back. Thanks for joining. Thanks everyone for tuning in. Don't forget to hit that subscribe button and follow for LRG Podcasts. You can find out anything about live reality games happening in your area, Cayman Islands, wherever you want to go. There's probably a live game somewhere. So thanks for tuning in, and we'll see you next week. I wish I knew who is presenting next week. I think it's me again, and then we'll have another special guest again. So till then.
Nice to meet you, Joseph.
Nice to meet you.